Okay, so I talk about this with a lot of my patients. It's like foam roller selection. So for anybody who doesn't know, there's hard ones like this with the PVC core. So I've had this one since I was like 18 and seen some action. And then there's nice soft ones like this. There's the bumpy ones. The other variety is the bumpy ones. I personally hate these ones, but some people love it. And then your last one of the variety is these, really soft. I would say they're almost useless for most things, but yeah, they'll have like a divot in the middle that'd be extra soft. But these are really good for really sensitive areas, like, for example, on most people, the side of the leg. Like right here is usually really fucking tender. The quads, I'd say the softest one you can find is probably good for areas like that. Otherwise, you're just not going to roll those areas, right? So those are the different types of rollers. You kind of almost want a really soft, shitty one in the mix. This is like a medium firmness one. This is the one I'm going to use for the hamstrings today. And I would either use the medium one or the PVC one. But this is
so this has been sped up a little bit just to make it easier and quicker to watch. So what I'm showing here is how to line up the foam roller with your leg. Basically, you want the foam roller perpendicular to the leg. So add right angles too. And so how you'll start is you'll just, sit the other side down on whatever the bench is, and then the side that you're rolling will go on top of the roller, and you just investigate by pushing down with one of the hands. And so you'll want to push down to the top of the thigh, and then just roll from, I like to go kind of starting closer to the body and then working out distally. Just, in kind of whatever kneading fashion seems to suit you the best. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as you find like you're getting into some good spots, the right spots for you. And for me, it tends to be on the left side, it's going to be proximal hamstring and a lot of adductors. I get a lot of weird stuff in the adductors. I don't feel it anywhere but in my low back, which is really strange. So oftentimes when I'm getting low back stuff or mid back stuff, I'll get in there and I'll roll out both hamstrings, but especially the adductors. And just pushing your one arm down on top of the leg that you're trying to roll out, and again looking for tight spots, interesting areas. And then when you finally find something, and then you extend the knee with some pressure pushing down on the leg, it can be a really nice release. And again, this is pretty sped up, so I do like to take my time. But you can stand up, shake out the leg, and if you've got nothing left to look for on that leg, it's time to switch legs. So we are doing that here. So we're on the right leg. This is my more difficult knee that I always have trouble with. But same thing, looking through the proximal hamstring. I got nothing on the lateral aspect, so I'm biasing a little bit more the medial aspect. And then once I found like I've gotten a good line, basically I'll extend the leg to get a little bit more stretch. And I'll play with it a little bit my dorsal angle. So yeah, just extension of the leg, you'll get a nice deep stretch. And then flexing the torso forwards, I get more adductor, like more groin in there basically. And then on this side, I'm looking a little bit more distal, and I do find some stuff to do a little bit more distal. So we're gonna give it a good smash here. And I found a nice little spot there that wasn't on the other side. And so we're going to focus on it a little bit, right? So apply some pressure and slowly extend the leg under a little bit of manual pressure. And again, play with your torso angle, get yourself something nice and broad to sit on. This works really good on a bench or a camping cooler, like one of those igloo camping coolers. If you don't have either of those, I've made a dinner table chair work before. It's a little bit awkward, but it can do the trick. But in a pinch, you'll figure it out. But yeah, again, too, this whole routine is kind of tied with my low back. So some of the anatomy of the lateral sling I'll go over another time. So this other series I like to do is just kind of I do this almost every morning, right? I'll get out of bed and my body is stiff as usual. I'm a stiff person, not very flexible. So anyway, I'll go to sit on my ankles like this, and it really gives me a good stretch through the front of the shins. And I also have really tight right knee capsule. Like, I don't know what's going on in there, but it's been tight for years. So this feels really good to give it a little bit of challenge, a little bit of flexion. And then the next move is to get up into a deep squat. So sit on the ankles one direction, sit on the ankles the other direction, still in deep knee flexion. So it's honestly mostly just ankle mobility kind of routine. And then the final bit is, it's called elephant walk. So anyway, the flow kind of goes sit on the ankles, sometimes shift from left to right to kind of get a deeper stretch, and then sit back into a deep squat. Let that sink a little bit, experiment with some nice angles, and then go into it's like a downward dog kind of, like it's called the elephant walk. So one of the things that this is really useful for is just flossing the sciatic nerve. So nerve flossing can be really handy if again, you deal with a lot of like lower body tension, tightness, and pain up into the glute that kind of refers in a sciatica type of pattern. And I mean, you don't have to have sciatica to do this, but it's really nice. So extending one leg, locking it out, and then playing with hip angles and really pushing into the ground in front of you with your hands to get a nice deep extension, and then switching your bias of your legs, and then going through the flow again, right? And then so now we'll probably bias a little bit more the other side.